In effort to be nostalgic, I wanted to go over why I still think Borderlands 2 is the Empire Strikes Back of the Borderlands franchise. And since Borderlands 4 is right around the corner, I thought now would be a good time to go back and understand why one game is heralded as basically the peak of the looter shooter genre and another game isn't. Since we're approaching Borderlands 4 and it seems to be a nice hybrid fusion of Borderlands 2 and 3, at least I'm hoping, we'll have to find out what happens, I wanted to go over why Borderlands 2 is still played more and considered superior to Borderlands 3. First and foremost, in terms of its improvements from the original Borderlands release, Borderlands 2 was probably the biggest jump in quality of life and gameplay improvements that the franchise had seen up until Borderlands 3. Now, Borderlands 3 has problems, but in terms of the gunplay and mechanics, in terms of character movement and combat, Borderlands 3 is awesome. Every other aspect, though, is where it fails, and that's where Borderlands 2 picks up the slack. While Borderlands 2 does have more of an outdated kind of combat system, where it doesn't have sliding, mantling, realistic projectile speeds and things like that in terms of the new modern movement of shooters, everything must be super fluid, Borderlands 2 is a little more old school and rigid, but that doesn't actually take anything away from it because the other pillars of the game are so strong. First and foremost, Borderlands 2 added every type of weapon you could think of that the franchise going forward has been trying to replicate as the series goes on. Borderlands 2 introduced the most diverse planet locations we've had without having to leave Pandora. It improved every aspect of the customization for your character, skill trees, it made more diverse locations available, it created a ton of unique enemies and weapons that keep returning in future series, like Varkids and things like that. These are all enemy types that weren't in the first Borderlands and haven't really been improved upon since. But one of the biggest things that holds Borderlands 2 up above all the slime that has come out of the looter-shooter genre is just its tone, its atmosphere, and its story. Modern day gaming likes to do this thing where it tries to copy Hollywood, and Borderlands 3 fell for that trap. It tried to make its comedy more like the MCU. It wanted to be more quippy, more self-referential, even fourth wall breaking and meta at points, which is fine. Borderlands 2 even makes those jokes. But there's a time and a place for it. If every character you meet spews something that sounds like Deadpool pointing at the screen and saying, haha, you're in the movie and you're fat, it doesn't really make a ton of sense. You can have characters do this, of course, but it doesn't have to be as overt and over the top as Borderlands 3 made it, because that just makes it exhausting. I understand I'm playing a video game. I want to enjoy a story. If you want to poke fun that I'm playing a game with certain dialogue from people like Claptrap, that's fine. Claptrap's a side character, but when the main story does nothing but poke fun at itself, I can't take it seriously. And while Borderlands 2 is a very funny game, it has very sharp writing and a lot of jokes that I didn't even get till now going back to the game. When I played it the first time, I was 11 years old. And while I did get a good few of the jokes, some of the writing and dialogue and names of quests now are clicking in my brain because I'm older now. And don't remind me, I am getting old. This came out in 2012. Yikes. What a time to be alive now. But Borderlands 2 was funny, but it also knew when to take itself seriously. And that leads into the main point. There is a massive crux that is holding all of the Borderlands franchise together. They can't escape him. He's everywhere. He is basically the Thanos of the Borderlands universe, as in what he is saying is correct, his execution is not. And that's Handsome Jack. This guy makes Borderlands 2. And he is one of, if not the greatest video game villains ever. It's someone that you want to see. And like I said, I consider Borderlands 2 to be the Empire Strikes Back of the Borderlands franchise, which means this guy is our Darth Vader. You can't escape him. He's everywhere. He's iconic. And no one can top him in terms of just pure gaming aura and bliss. Every time he's on screen, he's super entertaining to listen to, and you just want to kill him so bad. And while he does talk to you throughout the game, like later villains do, his dialogue doesn't come off as weird, cringy, preachy, or whiny. Handsome Jack is trying to toy with you because he actually believes you are nothing. He firmly believes what he is doing is just and right, and he is bringing civility to a savage land. And while, yes, Sanctuary is civilized to the most part, it is still haphazardly slapped together with a loose command structure And he makes that point clear when he takes out Roland and takes Lilith. The Vault Hunters are kind of left scrambling. They have no leadership. He was very quickly able to cut the head off of that snake in one shot. Which goes into another point that while Handsome Jack is funny and he talks to you throughout the game, he's a legitimate threat. The Calypso twins don't strike me as intimidating at all. The only thing they do of note is kill Maya because they just had to have the writers create something to give weight to the story. So they had a character kill Maya by touching her and just didn't help the story at all. The way Handsome Jack kills Roland, it's shocking, it's unexpected, and it carries weight. It takes you from an emotional high to an absolute emotional low right before the final act, and it was the perfect way to exemplify that, yeah, this guy's the bad guy, you're going to take him down, but he's going to fight back, and he's not going to go down easy. And even after he kills Roland, Jack still has sort of kind of a sarcastic attitude, but you can tell something has changed in him. He has gone from the guy in the background poking fun at you from behind the curtain eating stale pretzels to, I want to murder you, you killed my daughter. That is much more effective of a motivation for a villain who believes he's in the right than anything. And again, look at the parallel to Thanos. Throughout the movie, Thanos in Infinity War kind of toys with everyone because he knows he's more powerful than them. He knows he can beat them in hand-to-hand combat. But then there's a shift in the movie when he has to sacrifice Gamora, who he views as his daughter, who he loves. There's a switch in Thanos. And when he gets those stones and goes at the Avengers, that dude holds nothing back. You can see a man's will broken. And Handsome Jack is a perfect example of that. And that's why Borderlands 2 is still so good. Everything about it was improved from Borderlands 1, but there is a massive crux, and that's the story itself. It is one of the greatest video game stories ever made, and I'm absolutely amazed that somehow they haven't topped this yet. I'm not saying to bring back Handsome Jack, I'm saying try a little harder. Now, from what I'm seeing with the new villain in Borderlands 4 and the way that he's involving some sort of time travel or alternate dimension, I'm going to go out on a limb here and I would bet a good bit of money that this Timekeeper character is someone we know. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's Roland from a different universe. That's just me because it seems like Borderlands is going towards this multiversal route that every franchise is going into, much like how we're copying the MCU with our style of comedy. We are now copying the MCU in terms of the multiverse style of plot device. So we'll have to see. But Borderlands 2 is still regarded as the best because it did everything it needed to in a sequel and it made itself timeless, both graphically, gameplay-wise, with its improvements, the variety in locales and enemies, and with a villain that we will not soon forget in Handsome Jack. And that's why I think Borderlands 2 is probably the best looter-shooter ever made, period. Not just the best looter-shooter sequel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I appreciate you guys' time today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.